Hello investors. So today we are going to discuss in detail about one of the important document while analyzing a stock, which is the annual report. So annual report is a mandatory document which a company has to provide projecting its operating and financial activities for that year. It summarizes company's performance in the last year and it provides the positioning of the company in the market. It's a yearly publication as its name depicts and is published by the end of the financial year, that is 31st March year on year here in India, and the dates can vary based on the financial year closure for every country. But basically the content or the sequence of content normally remains same irrespective of the country. Also, the quarterly financial results are not to be confused with the annual reports. As I mentioned, the annual reports are on yearly basis and quarterly financial statements are released in every 4 quarters in a year. So that's like in every year you will get 4 financial quarterly statements. During which while releasing these quarterly financial statements, the company normally arranges an so-called earnings call, which is the conference call between the management of the company, management of the listed company, the analysts, investors, and media to discuss the company's financial results during the particular quarter. Note that not all the annual reports of companies are of same format and will have some minor changes in sequence of topics and the style of presenting the data. Many times I have seen annual reports which are very dull in presentation and many data are missing as well. Like if it is a very old company with not a modern outlook, so you can see that the data still remains as in a older way of presentation, though they have to follow all the accounting practices as per the regulatory norms. But I will also tell that if the annual report is so much colorful, then they may be hiding some important misouts or litigations which the company is going through. So you should not be looking at the aesthetics of the document, but should be looking into the content. That's the main important thing you have to remember while analyzing a annual report of any company. So read annual report whose businesses you understand and that is within your circle of competence. So what is circle of competence we have discussed in detail in my earlier video. So you should be very comfortable and you should be very much knowing about the business you are analyzing and hence its annual report. Otherwise you may miss lot of data and you will not understand where to analyze and what to analyze. Don't go with, as I mentioned, don't go with the colorful pages of the annual reports which some companies present, though it has a feel good for us while reading it. Yes, but good companies also have some very colorful annual reports, so it is not that you have a colorful annual report so you should ignore it, but you should concentrate more on the content of the annual reports and you should be cross verifying whether some data is missing, and you should always feel free to contact the investor center or the company secretary and you can email them and get the relevant data if anything is missing, and they are bound to reply to the investors as well. So I often read the annual reports, and if something is missing or some clarification is required, I get the email ID either from the annual report or else from the website of the annual report website of the company, and then I write to them and they normally reply with the relevant details. So again, where to find the annual report? So annual report can be found in many places, but authentic annual report or easily available ease of availability is directly in the website of the company. Like if it is Grasim Industries, Google Grasim Industries, then you will get the website of Grasim Industries. Then go to Grasim Industries, and in the investor section, something like investor session or investor relationship, there is some icon, so click on that. Then you will get all the annual reports for past several years, all the years you will get, including this year, if the financial results are announced for this year. Otherwise, from last year, all the past data you will get. And also the financial quarterly financial statements also you will be getting separately in the investor session. So I strongly suggest you directly go to the website and get the details rather than from other sites. As Warren Buffett mentions, we can we always have to think that you are completely owning the business and not just a like 10 to 15 shares of that. Even though you are holding very small number of shares in that, you have to think as if you are owning the complete business, so that you will be very serious on reading these documents and analyzing the company. Because like if you are going to buy a shop or if you are owning a business in a real life, in your real life, not the stock but in your real life, then you will be always eager and you should know what is going on inside the business and how the business is done, what is the past prospects and what is the future prospects, what is the current scenario, what is the sector, uh, how is the sector, what is it going through, everything. So all these things you will clearly get in the annual report. So annual report is important since it is the main document which tells we small owners of the business about in-depth details of the business by the company managers, since it's our money that they use to run the part of their business and grow the earnings going forward. So as I told earlier also, while we sleep, the managers of the company work hard for us to generate the profit if it's a good company. So how they are generating profit and what is the way forward, everything you will get in an annual report. Now you will find in the annual report in the website that I already mentioned. So it is better you directly Google like if it is Grasim or Indigo annual report, like that you can mention in the Google and you can directly go to the site and download the details. I would strongly suggest you to read the entire annual report and not just a part of it. Like somebody is very fond of going through only the financial statements like your balance sheet and other financial documents, but not the other prospects which is mentioned in the annual report. But I would say that equally all the pages in the annual reports is important to be analyzed. So you have to just download it and if possible print it and just read like you are reading a book, because you have to know about the entire company in which you are going to invest or either you have invested in, so that where you have put your hard earned money you should know the business well. Just like you study about the location, prospects of builder, rates, etc. in depth before you invest in your first flat or a real estate property, you equally has to spend some time digging deep into the company's annual reports. That too not just this year but past several other years, like I would say last 10 years as well, for assimilating its actual performance and its financial figures as well. So now we get into the core session of this. So what all things are there in the annual report? So you can see my screen. So first you can see the initial page or the company overview. So in the company overview you will get to know what is the company into, what are the details. So it is very simple. The document annual report, if you see, you will get the company overview. Then you will get the content session wherein they will mention what all things are covered in the annual report. So you can see in the screen what all things are there. So mainly I will concentrate on items which are important to be analyzed and simply ignore the other things. And I would also suggest you not to look into the unwanted data in the annual report, because it's then you will have to spend a lot of time which doesn't fetch you any results. So the first main important thing is the chairman's letter. So the CEO letter. So CEO letter, like this on the screen you can see, this is a Grasim Industries annual report which I have mentioned. So that's the CEO Kumar Mangalam Birla. So it is a letter from him. So he tells about the company, the global economy, how it works, and what is the company, how is the company going through, is it a good patch or a rough patch, and what are the future prospects. So it generally gives, the chairman briefs about the company. So that is very important to be read. And after that you will get the message from the MD, the managing director. So similar to CEO, he will also address about the company details. Then after that you get into this uh, management discussion and analysis, MD&A normally it's called. So management discussion and analysis is also important, wherein the company's management gives you overall figures of its performance. You can see on the screen. So it's a short brief briefing about the company's revenue, or how the company is running, with some figures given in that. Like you can see the consolidated revenue in crores and etc. So all those details, though you will get this in the detailed financial statement, the company gives a brief about this in this session. And then again in the session, another thing which they mention is the macros, the economical perspective of the company, like how the global economy in the same sector. Say if it is Grasim, then they are into viscous fiber, or Ultratech is into cement, so it's a manufacturing firm. So about manufacturing, what is the cement demand, what is the global economy, how it is placed, how it is affecting the company. So on a global level, they will detail out the things. Then he will get into the industry analysis. So industry analysis is like the sector specific. Like in cement sector, then it is only they'll talk about the cement sector and how it is affected, or what are the things which are affecting that sector. So that also is important, because instead of going and reading it from other places, this annual reports gives you a clear idea of concentrated idea of what this industry is going through. Then into marketing strategy. So marketing strategy is like how the company is planning to market the product, what is the sustainability model, what is the profitability they are thinking that they'll get. So what is the proper marketing strategy? So that is equally important. Then comes the business strategy. So similarly, what are the business strategies the company is planning? Are there any acquisition going to happen? Are there any inorganic growth going to happen? Is there any capex uh, which is being planned for this year, and how they are going to expand the business, or are they going to give off some businesses which is not going good, or it is loss making. So those things you will get from this session. So then comes the broad financial analysis. So again in this, company will give some overall figures, wherein each, say if it is a conglomerate like Grasim, then it will explain about each and every uh, wing of that, cement wing, then viscous fiber, then uh, Aditya Birla Financial Services, that is its all mutual funds, insurance businesses. So all those things, Aditya Birla Fashion. So everything they will detail out each sector, what is the broad financial analysis they will mention. So that is also important for you to understand about the business and how it is running. Next comes the risk. So there are a lot different types of risk. So there is a competitive risk, then there is a regulatory risk. So competitive risk is like then some new company which is a competitor to this company is bringing up with new products. So how it will affect the company's profitability or the sustainability. And then the regulatory risk is like if the some new norm the government is bringing in, say for import or export or some raw material cess, some taxes. So all these are regulatory risks. So there are different types of risk: strategic risk you can see on the screen, operational risk, financial risk, compliance risk. So all those risks they detail out properly. The company himself would have identified the risk and they will detail out to the investors what are the possible risk and how what are the risk mitigation measures they have opted. Then comes the board's directors report. So there you will get the details of the director. So director reports again details out some figures, financial figures. In addition to that, they will also have this shareholders information. So how much percentage is held by the promoter, how much mutual funds are holding, how much the FII, the foreign institutional investors, the domestic institutional investors. So all those split you will get in the shareholding pattern. So I will always suggest you ensure that some good amount of holding is there if it is a say like family run business, so that they own the business and they have higher stakes, means they have to really put in time into this business to generate good profit. If the stakes are less, then it is likely that they won't concentrate much on the business. And also you can see the pledged shares here. So is there any shares pledged in this? So pledging of shares is not actually good if it is on a longer term they are doing it. Then comes the subsidiary companies. So there are subsidiary companies, say for Grasim, Ultratech is a subsidiary company. Similarly for Tata Chemical, then Tata Sons is another holding company. So subsidiary company also is like Tata Chemicals Rallis India, which is like Tata Chemical is holding 50% of Rallis India, more than 50%. So they have a controlling stake. So all those subsidiary company and how much percentage is the holding and number of shares held by the company, parent company, is also mentioned in this session, which is equally important. Then comes the corporate governance. So corporate governance tells about the uh, company's corporate governance or all the regulatory norms which they are supposed to comply to, whether they are really complying, and it discloses the company's governance procedures and the compliance, how strictly they are following the compliance. So even in that, in the corporate governance, you can see the remuneration, the remuneration of the main CEO or the main managements. So how much they are drawing. So the remuneration is very high, then it's a red flag for me. Like if your PAT, the profit after tax, is say 100 crore, then a remuneration of like 5 crore is acceptable, like 5% of the PAT, up to 5% is acceptable. If it is exceeding that percentage, then it is like lot of cash is been burned just for the remuneration, wherein the profit is less and the CEOs or the board members are eating away the money. So you have to equally look into this remuneration as well, and who is drawing what. So that is equally important. Now again, meeting attended by management. That is something which I always look into, because how, if there are a lot of subsidiaries or there are a lot of companies held by the parent company, then the management may not be attending all the meetings. but that even shows that the company is not or management is not interested in a particular company. If they are really interested, then many of the meetings, or at least the important meetings, will be attended by the main members of the company. So here you can see some examples wherein the name of the director or the board members are written there, and on which date the meeting has held and who all have attended. So their attendance report is even mentioned in this annual report. So that is the level in which everything is actually mentioned in the annual report. The complete start to end is mentioned in the annual report. So you really have to concentrate and dedicate time to read about it. Then next comes the auditor's report. So auditor's report is a report which is just coming just before the financial statements are being mentioned in the annual report. So auditor's report, it is like a auditor agent would be there, so they will be auditing the complete financial reports. Then they will see if there is any mismatch in the financial figures, and they will audit the complete documents and statements from the from the company, and they will tell their notes if there is some mismatches or if there is some issues, or if it is all okay. All these things they will mention in the auditor's report. So you have to dive deep into this auditor's report and see if there is any creative accounting or any mismatches if they are mentioning. So that's again a great red flag. So read the auditor's report to the complete. It will be some 3-4 pages, so you have to go through that. Then comes our financial statements. So before that, in financial statement there is a heading like investments. So investments are like, say here you can see I have projected an investment page from the Tata Chemicals annual report. So here you can see Tata Chemical holds stakes in Indian Hotel, then Orient Hotels Limited, then Tata Investment Corporation, Tata Steel, Tata Motors, Titan Company. So these are like how much shares and how much crores of stakes are being held by the company. Again, I have mentioned this in the holding company valuation. So in my earlier video, that if like in here you can see the listing price which is mentioned here. Say for Rallis India, here it is mentioned as the number of shares it is written, and the holding value is 47 crore. But that is the acquiring price of that Tata Chemicals while he had bought the shares or acquired the shares in this company. But now you have to see the number of shares is already given here. Then you have to see the actual price of the Rallis India on a current date, and then multiply the shares outstanding mentioned here with the price to get the actual current price tag or the current investment value. So then you have to do that for each company and sum out the total amount. So that will give a good feel of what actually company is holding, and maybe the company even is undervalued as far as its market capitalization is concerned. So that is the importance of the looking into the investments which is mentioned in the financial statements. Now the financial statements, basically as you see on the screen, there are three sessions for a financial statement, that is balance sheet, income statement, otherwise called the profit and loss statement, so P&L statement, then the cash flow statement. So cash flow statement being the most important for a value investor, like we already discussed about free cash flow and all in earlier sessions. So anyhow, this balance sheet, income statement and cash flow statement, I will have 3 different sessions after this session, wherein I will go through each of the statement and teach you how to go through the statement and what all things you have to look into in that statements. So here I will just tell you the overall statements, and we will deep dive into it in the next session. So coming into this first, like the balance sheet. So balance sheet, you can see a balance sheet here. So balance sheet, as a name indicates, it's assets and liabilities. So how to analyze this, I'm not covering it here. So as I mentioned, I'll cover it in the next session. So balance sheet, you will have the figure. So always you have to look into the consolidated figure, not the standalone figure, because I have already mentioned earlier that consolidated figure gives you the complete financial statements of all the company and including its subsidiaries. If it is a standalone, then it will not have the subsidiary financial reports. So always you have to see the complete earnings or the financial statement of a company, which is nothing but the consolidated statements. So you need to see the balance sheet, then the P&L statement, otherwise called the income statement, and the cash flow statement. So these three things will give you the company earnings, how much free cash flow it is generating, what is the capex it is doing doing this year, and what are the profit after tax, profit before tax, what are the interest rates, and what is the tax they are paying. So all these things you will get from the financial statements. Now after that you will get into the related party transaction, which is again a part of the financial statement. So based on annual reports, this related party transaction can come in different session, but normally it comes in the financial statement session only. Sometimes in notes of the financial statement, otherwise as an annexure to the financial statement of the annual report. So it is basically uh, depicts the money transactions which the company has done for its subsidiaries. So there are like he may have bought something for the subsidiary, he may have sold something of the subsidiary. So all these transactions, which is not part of main company but its subsidiary, comes in the related party transaction. So this you have to see, especially for holding companies wherein whatever they get as dividend or profit from the subsidiary companies, what they are doing with that amount and where they are putting that money, and is it really value adding to the company. So that is the related party transaction. Now after all these things you have these notes. So this will be like, you can see here it's a profit and loss statement. Even in cash flow statement and even in balance sheet you will see notes. For some items you will see some notes. So you have to go to the notes which will be coming after the financial statements as 1, 2, 3, 4 or whatever number of notes are there. So each note you have to see if there, and you have to read between the lines and see if some problem is there or something specific. You have to look into that, because notes really reveals you a lot of hidden things in the balance sheet which they don't directly project, sorry, in the annual report. Hidden things in the annual report which they don't directly project, or companies reluctant to directly mention it, but as per accounting practice they really have to mention that in the notes. So because notes are smaller and it is only an annexure to the main document, so many people don't go through that, but I strongly suggest that you should go through these notes as well. And company financial statement, you will have some heads called the, in the income statement you will have something called the expenses. So in the expenses again you have this other expenses. So other expenses, some companies will have a higher figure, so you have to see the notes. So in the notes you see, you can see on this screen there is another expense for a company, and it has listed what all are the other expenses. So you have to dig deep into what all the expenses and is there any mismatch in the figure. And even here in the other expense you can see there is a miscellaneous expense which is accounting to around 17,000 odd crore. So 2019 and 2020 both you can see it is around 17,000 or 18,000 odd crore. So that's a big figure. So here if you see miscellaneous, though in the other expenses there is another head called miscellaneous expense, and that breakup was not available in this balance sheet, in this annual report. So I had to write to the management or the investor relationship manager or the company secretary and get the split for that miscellaneous expense. So that is why you should not miss such items because it's a high budget item. So 17,000 crore is not a small figure. So you really need to know what are the accounting, or I will not call the mix ill practice, but still miss outs in the document, and dig deep, like where they are spending the money or how they are spending the money. So the other expense is something important which I always look into an annual report. So after that you will get this subsidiary holding. So this is for this Hindalco, one of the company which I hold in my portfolio. So there you can see there is a chart given wherein it has mentioned about its subsidiary companies. The parent company is Hindalco, and which all companies like Novelis, wherever they are holding the subsidiary companies, they are mentioned, and what is the percentage of holding they are mentioned. Majority are controlling stakes. So like it is above 51%. So this chart may not be there in all the company annual reports, but some companies, for giving more clarity, they give the diagram. Otherwise you already have, I have told you, there is a subsidiary company session, holding session in the annual report. So there you can see the tabulation wherein what is the percentage of holding and number of shares held. So easily you can understand that. So annual report is very important because it gives, as I mentioned, or even as Warren Buffett mentioned once, that it gives you the idea of the entire company, its future prospects, what it is planning to do. So what it is, how it has run in the past, and how it is running currently, and what is his future prospects, and how it is going to meet the targets. So all these things you will get from the annual report. So it is important that you read each and every pages which I mentioned here, if not all, and understand the importance of a annual report. And always you should see the annual report with a negative bias, so that you find out some mistakes or anything as a red flag in the annual report. Then you should feel free to write to the investor relationship manager and get the clarity on the document. So in the next session we will detail out about the three financial statements, which is the balance sheet, P&L statement, and the cash flow statement. Happy investing.